Yeah. Yeah. Okay. 30,000 in the pocket, no change. Okay. I might pass the ball, but this is no game. Okay. All my girls, they love and hate me the same. Okay. So when I die, I ain't gonna be from old age. Somebody gonna want revenge. Somebody might want it now. Right pocket got euros. Left pocket got pound. Somebody gonna want revenge. Somebody might want it now. Throw the ball with the right hand, catch with the left, touchdown. Step back, let me get some room. Congrats every time I'm through. Same packet, nobody knew. So I never get confused. Hotel get a bird's eye view. Hotel get a waiting room. Read a magazine while you wait for me. Baby, I'll be done so soon. Phone gotta be off, each store got locks. I got some trusted shoes. 10K on the countertop, don't look so shocked, it's nothing new. Death comes in threes. Wins come in twos. Cash comes in ones. Throw it up, celebrate some news. I do a good job. Pull up and pop out and pull out. Hat on and hood on. Pedal to metal. When I put my foot on, I got to put on. I got a bad one. They want to keep me. Oh, that's a good one. Pockets are dense. I think my bread is hard as a crouton. Receipts in my pocket don't come with a coupon. Okay. 30,000 in the pocket. No change. Okay. I might pass the ball, but this is no game. Okay. All my girls, they love and hate me the same. Okay. So when I die, I ain't gonna be from old age. Somebody gonna want revenge. Somebody might want it now. Right pocket got euros. Left pocket got pound. Somebody gonna want revenge. Somebody might want it now. Throw the ball with the right hand, catch with the left, touchdown. Touchdown, 8th floor, come down, hotel, lobby. Receptionist, what now? 11 a.m., check out. Might give her one foul, just to tell her it's one now. How come? I need rest, no recess in my schedule. Mama used to serve vegetables, now half the meals got tentacles. Half the Emirates need a reservation and half my money goes straight to taxes. But I don't trip about it, that's what happens when you got dreams closer than imagine. Plus all your boys got expensive habits. Go. I know what they're thinking, they don't even gotta say it. Nope. They thinking they just made it. I know how to make everybody feel famous. I don't gotta work no day shift. I don't gotta split no payment. I don't gotta answer questions. And I don't need you to okay it. Okay, 30,000 in the pocket, no change. Okay, I might pass the ball, but this is no game. Okay, all my girls, they love and hate me the same. Okay, so when I die, I ain't gonna be from old age. Somebody gonna want revenge. Somebody might want it now. Right pocket got euros. Left pocket got pound. Somebody gonna want revenge. Somebody might want it now. Throw the ball with the right hand, catch with the left, touchdown.
They took it to 10.
Hey everybody, it's the coach. This is the NFL on EA Sports. Up next, we've got a good one on tap between the visiting Houston Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So with that, let's get you up to Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Standing by for the call, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League brings us to Western Pennsylvania and ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Houston Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, we look at this Steeler ball club entering play. It's been a lost first month of the season, that's for sure, as they come in with an 0-4 record.
And the window's not shut on them, though. They still have a chance to make something out of this season, but it has to start right now.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Texans, they were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
The first quarter of the season already in the rearview mirror, and off we go in Week 5 on EA Sports. This is taken at his 4. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. So here are the Steelers now to take over for the first time. They'll be led out by a third-round pick back in 2018 out of Oklahoma State. It's Mason Rudolph.
And this is a game for grit determination, and somehow finding a way not to panic. What a horrible start for them. I mean, they haven't won a game yet. So now, as a quarterback, you're not just talking to your team. You've got to demonstrate to them what they need to do to win. He's got to be the leader by how he plays.
First carry for James Conner. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27. Offensive starters, here they are. David DeCastro, what do you think about him, Charles?
Brandon could not have been better trained at Stanford. So well schooled in the run game and the pass game, and especially in pro principles. David DeCastro could be an all-pro in the years to come.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. They'll run here with Conner. Absolutely nobody fooled there. He's going nowhere fast as he stopped behind the line of scrimmage. It'll wind up being a loss of 2, and it'll be 3rd and 10 now. It's probably a pretty good sign here on the opening drive if your guys from the secondary are coming up and spilling things in the backfield.
How about the adrenaline and aggressiveness that led his eyes to the backfield to run up there and make that tackle, setting a tone early for his defense.
So now an early 3rd and 10 here on their opening drive.
Here we go, fight!
Shotgun snap for Rudolph. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
It always helps for a visiting team to come in and set the tone on defense. In fact, when we talked with them prior to the game, they said they wanted this home crowd to feel like they had to hide their valuables when they were in town.
Well, the home crowd quiet now early. See if their offense can take over and get some points on the board. On 4th down, here comes the Steeler punter Jordan Berry to kick it away. And he gets this away, and look at this. This is a good one. This is taken at about the 14. A terrific return there. 27 yards all told. And the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10. Good starting field position for the Houston Texans here as they come up 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line.
Check nickel. Hey, switch gears.
Nyheim Hines, his first carry. There he goes, left side. Touchdown, Houston. Nyheim Hines with touchdown number 8 on the year. And they are able to strike first here on their opening drive. An ideal start for them, really. You force the punt, and then you go down and score.
And you've got to see a fist pump on the sideline from the head coach, don't you? Because he's turned into his bench, and he's telling his team, this is how we prepare. Force the punt, go downfield and score. I told you guys, it's just like a boxer in the gym preparing for the fight. Now we get to turn it all loose.
So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away. This will be fielded at the 6. And he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards, up to the 27-yard line. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. And the last drive, their first drive, 3 and out. What changes here, if anything?
I think it's making sure the guys that you trust the most with the ball, the biggest playmakers you have, that they touch it on this possession to try and get things moving.
So get it to the horses. Without
a doubt. They're the ones that typically end up in the end zone.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. On 2nd down, Conner looking for space. And again, the run defense stout this time. He maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage, but no more. A run through the starters defensively for the Texans. They were very good in the win last week against Jacksonville.
Held them well.
Rudolph loses the football. It's out. And the Texans scoop it. And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And they will bring this one back. A fumble return for a Texans touchdown. And give some kudos to the defensive coordinator, I think, here. They bring the blitz, they dial it up, and it turns into 6 points for them.
It's so nice to hear you actually give kudos to the defense. It is so nice you're such an offensive guy like that. I love it. He dialed things up, and boy, a big play resulted for his guys.
Well, you like the credit to the defense there, right, my friend?
Yeah, do I ever?
So not only the cough up, but then the pickup on the other side, the scoop, and the score the other way. The fumble return for a touchdown. This is taken at his 4. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. Only a couple there as he'll be brought down about the 28. Here's Rudolph off play action. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football, and the Texans scoop it. And he will score. It's a touchdown. Second time he's lost a fumble. This one hurts more. It's returned for 6.
He's been under a lot of duress, hasn't he? Pressured, hurried, harassed the whole game.
Well, the offensive line not giving him a lot of help.
Not a lot of help, but the bottom line, he's got to take care of the football.
Extra point by Fairbairn, up and good. And it's now 21-0. The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there. Grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. So here's the kickoff now as he'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. This is taken at his 4. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
A first opportunity for the Steelers in the red zone. They've got a first and goal from the 10-yard line. That's going to be caught at the 10-yard line. 3 yards is the gain that time. Second and goal.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't.
And caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Steelers. Dallas Goedert, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. As his guys are on the board here in this first quarter.
Well, since we don't have a rooting interest in this one, neither one of us wanted to see this one get out of hand too early. Here we are in the first quarter. That was an important response for them to score already down 21.
Scoring summary, 3-play drive, and it ends with a Pittsburgh touchdown. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. And they hit the home run last drive. 1 play on the ground all the way to the house. Now the defense, maybe they're expecting a run here.
Partner, I love your description because when we talk about hitting the home run, we're usually thinking about a passing play, aren't we? Something in the air, deep ball. But how about them just taking it big-time jaunt? Now if you're coming back out, now they've established this run game, the play-action pass could very well be open.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out.
Now a give, right side. Hines. The second down play, not much better than the first, just a gain of 1 there. A pretty wild first quarter, 21-7, our score. And the Steelers now in the nickel here on third down. A shotgun snap for Watson. And that is incomplete.
It is tough to complete passes against zone defenses. The windows that you see open, they shrink pretty rapidly. How about being able to hit a moving target against a zone before the next guy can get there and make a play on the ball?
Not easy for any quarterback, no matter the situation. And there, the defense won the battle. It's just a 32-yard punt with no return. The Pittsburgh offense at the line to start their next drive. I guess they have to feel a little gratified to at least get on the board last time, but still work to do.
No doubt about it. I wonder now if they're going to try to increase the urgency a little bit, maybe pump up the pace, maybe go 2 minute. Who knows? Let's see what they decide to do.
Pittsburgh getting 16 yards there and also a first down.
60 Pittsburgh.
On first and 10 is counter. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
Pittsburgh getting 16 yards there and also a first down. Rudolph on first down. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Zach Cunningham rolling in to get the sack.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
After the sack on first down, Rudolph. Well, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely. He's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, and the pressure gets to him again.
They can't stop us, baby. Every time it's a sack.
I'm starting to wonder if this offensive line just simply doesn't like him. I mean, they've given up 6 sacks in this game. He's had nowhere to go, nowhere to run, and obviously nowhere to hide.
And all those sacks in the first half, this is just complete domination. And this one hits at the 3 and then bounds into the end zone for a touchback. There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. And he's well on his way to a 100-yard game. He's already more than halfway there. We're only in the second quarter.
And what I've always loved about running backs is they'll tell you, I had no idea how many yards I had.
Right.
Those guys have an innate sense of where they are in a ball game and how many yards they've accumulated because you know they're always working towards 100.
He's been working well towards 100 here. A loss of 2 there. Second down. Moving backwards on first down, never a good thing. What does that do for the mindset on second down?
Well, it changes your play call, definitely, because as a play call, you're advancing yourself thinking, okay, we're going to get a gain here. Now you've got to go back in reverse, come up with something to pick up not just the yardage lost, but gain a few extra.
So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. They will toss to Brown. So they get half of what they needed. It'll be 3rd and 6 upcoming. And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. we remind you, coming up at the half, we'll join who, Charles?
The coach.
The coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from games in progress, as well as scores from earlier today.
The coach.
Right, we get slap happy up here sometimes. Now the Steelers use the first of their 3 timeouts. So as they take it over, we step aside. The Texans send the punter out as he'll kick it away for the second time. And now where will the side judge stop his walk? That's the question. He says it crossed out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. Mason Rudolph leading this offense out for their next possession. Been a decent start for him here in this first half, but they're losing. And I think as the captain of the offense, you probably always feel like you need to do more in that situation.
The best have always felt that way.
And he's going to go down. The Texans come at him and able to bring him to the ground. Offensively, they're going to have to figure this out before next week. 7 sacks in one game.
Yeah, and that's more than any quarterback should have to bear. And if this continues on, there will be another quarterback in the game because no one can stand up to this week after week.
Throwing on second and long. Rudolph. Now the Texans will use one of their 2 remaining timeouts as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important third down. After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
And indeed, that's what they'll do as they run it here. And he will forge his way forward only up to the 2-yard line. The Texans going to signal for their 3rd and final timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Here's Jordan Berry now as he's on to punt for Pittsburgh. And he's able to get it out quickly, and this is not a bad kick here. Now a late flag comes in as they got him down via the face mask, and that'll give him even better starting position. So that flag will cost him 15.
And it doesn't matter anymore how you get the face mask. Any part of it, that's going to be 15 yards.
So 1st and 10 after a big mistake on 4th down with a penalty.
Rush in, rush in, rush in.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And he's going to get this inside the 30. 10 yards there, good enough for a Texan first down. Running game working, they'll stick with it on first down. 5 yards on the carry, good pickup on first down.
Partner, I think from our experience together, we have learned that most offensive coordinators are going to tell you, if I'm going to run the football on first down, I've got to get at least 4 yards. They got 5 here. They've got to feel pretty good about that one.
On second down, it's Hines. And he's going to be out down inside the 20 at the 15. 10 yards there, good enough for a Texan first down.
How about that run? Picks up a first down. Note the enthusiasm in my voice. Remember, last week, AFC Offensive Player of the Week. I think he's trying to get another one in the fold.
And you talked, watching film, a lot about his form and just hitting the hole, running north and south, as we like to say. And I think he's been doing that a lot recently.
Squaring those shoulders and getting downhill.
Now a handoff looking right. And this play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back to the 15. That's going to go as a loss of 1 on first down.
The short field shrinks even more with the type of bodies they brought in on that play. Those extra tight ends, they weren't able to secure their blocks, and that one ended up going backwards.
They'll try the air now with Watson. And that is caught. Touchdown, Texans. Kiki QT, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Texans push further out in front. Fairbairn good with the extra point. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. So that drive spanned 5 plays. And the result, a Houston touchdown. So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Juju Smith-Schuster and the rest of this offense heading back out there. You better believe that he's well aware he has 0 catches right now, and they're losing, so he's probably a little hungry.
And you know the guys on defense are aware as well, and they're really excited that he has no catches, but they're also worried because a lot of times it's like the ticking time bomb. The longer you hold him down, when he finally explodes, look out.
Yeah, no catches, though, so far in this game. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thank you very much. More from you, too, in just a bit. But first, let's get everybody caught up with what's going on around the NFL here in Week 5. We'll get things started.
Due to time constraints, we move you forward in today's broadcast to the beginning of the third quarter. It's the Texans in front, and they're going to get the football first as we are back underway in the third quarter. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. So here are the Texans to take over. They got the victory last week. That was against Jacksonville, and they lead this one as well right now. Out in front here, they've got it 1st and 10. They'll start on the ground with Hines, and he'll be upended at the 28-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain there.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28.
Check it back, check it back.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And he'll get about 4 across the 30 to the 32.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. They'll run on 3rd down with Brown. And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. 3 yards on 1st, 4 on 2nd, and now 5 on 3rd down. Move the sticks.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Rolling to, and a big loss here as he's taken down. Bilal Nichols able to get in there and run him down for what's going to be a loss of 15 yards all told. Chalk that up as their first sack in this game, and they tallied 4 a week ago.
And probably not as much exultation in that sack as what took us so long. Because when you get 4 the previous week, you're counting on continuing that momentum. They didn't get that done in the first half of the game. Let's see now if they start to bring even more exotic pressure towards the quarterback.
Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. It's Devin Bush, the linebacker, who picks it. They needed a break. They needed to make a play here in the third quarter defensively. They did that. Now they got to go quickly and get some points on the board.
And the best part is that they made their own break, taking the ball away. Now they just look at their offense and saying, guys,
let's go.
Come on, capitalize on this one.
And they're going to be set up down around the 15-yard line. A really good pickup of 28 yards.
We can talk all we want about football being a game of strength and brawn. It's also a game of mismatches, and they're trying to create one there. Getting it to their back out of the backfield to make a bigger play.
As we often say, get it to him in space, let him use his legs.
Yeah, if he can get a matchup against a linebacker or maybe a defensive end dropping out in a zone blitz, he's going to win that battle just about every time.
On 2nd down now. It's Connor. So he got free of 1 tackle but couldn't do a whole lot else. And still about 3 yards shy of a first as the 4-yard pickup brings it to 3rd down. In need of a conversion on 3rd down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. Rudolph looking to throw. And he's going to be dropped. Back at the 15-yard line. And they weren't in zone coverage. They were in man, and each man did his job.
And that looked like vintage, old-school coverage, didn't it? Man coverage reminded me of an old Raiders team. They had a Hall of Famer at one corner and a Defensive Player of the Year at the other, and they just locked people down.
So the drive stalls out inside the 15-yard line, but they do get 3.
And I've talked with enough players nowadays that when they have these types of kicks, that no one says to their guy, hey, that's just like making an extra point, piece of cake. because the extra point is not a piece of cake anymore. But kicking a field goal from that distance, just give him confidence and let him knock it through.
And this return net's positive as he gets past the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. And now out comes Houston. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the third quarter. You're 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. They get 14 on that one. Good for a Houston first down.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
This is it. 18. I'm going to run you to the line. Run you over. Check, 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 check. Check 13. Check 13. 59 and 1.
On first down, it's Brown. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. 16 yards on that one, and also a Texan first down.
Absolutely love the run right there. This guy's known for his quickness, but also for his speed, and he's able to get to the second level almost before you blink if you give him any type of blocking. Always talk about slot receivers, and they're usually known as quicker than fast. In this case, we've got a guy who's quick and fast.
And he fumbled it. It's on the ground, and it's picked up by the Steelers. And they have possession, and they have it at the 38-yard line.
The psychology of the game never ceases to amaze me because you would think there would never be a fumble from what we hear from coaches all the time, right?
And how much they practice not fumbling.
Practice it, preach it, talk about it all the time. You would think no one would ever turn it over. Yet they are humans out there running around, and we just saw another one.
Opportunistic by the defense. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
They start the drive with Connor. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down. At the 38-yard line. Try to get one more in here before the quarter breaks.
They're not ready for this, man.
And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the third quarter has come to a close. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Now a play fake, and it's Rudolph. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
Get him, boys.
I remember throughout my career hearing defensive coaches always say, guys, you got to earn the right to rush the passer. Well, they put themselves in a great spot with this big lead, and they know they've got to throw the ball.
These pass rushers have to be salivating. It is pin your ears back time indeed. Third and long, it's Rudolph. Under pressure again, and down he goes again. Well, they went with the nickel. They throw in an extra defensive back. Coverage was very good.
Yeah, it was exactly as you would expect. A passing down, you bring in the nickel package. Just as you described, the coverage was excellent and allowed one of their linemen to end up getting to the quarterback.
A critical one here if they're going to have any shot at this thing. So they'll go for it on fourth down. Now Rudolph. Open man, Smith-Schuster, it's complete. It'll go as a gain of 25 on a play that started back at the 25. Felt compelled to go for it there on fourth down, trailing in the fourth quarter. They got it done.
And there's always a lot of pressure on a fourth down call. Doesn't matter the distance. You stop to get it done, as you noted, and they did.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete. So after the incompletion on first, now second and 10. From the 50, it's Rudolph. Open man, completes it to Smith-Schuster. And they'll get 9 there as that sets them up better for third down. And the Steelers on third down, as bad as you can be, 0 for 7 thus far. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete. Another incompletion. You know, it's a wonder he's still moving around back there the number of times he's been sacked.
Yeah, he's staying out there, isn't he? And you don't think about it much in a game like this, but he's showing incredible leadership. Still competing, still fighting, not taking himself out of a ball game.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. The Steelers try it, but they come up empty on 4th down. And this Texans defense stands tall. Well, their first 4th down attempt earlier was successful. This one backfires for a turnover on downs.
I like their aggressiveness. I like what they're doing. They got it the first time they went for it. Why not a second time? I don't think...
And he lost the football. And it's picked up by the Steelers. And they'll take over inside the 45 at the 44-yard line. So the defense there, opportunistic.
It's nice to give them credit, isn't it? Because so many times it's more a matter of what the offensive guy didn't do. Didn't secure the ball, didn't cover up. In this case, let's just give credit to where it belongs. Knocked it free, made a big play.
That's what I'm talking about.
Now that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around.
And he's going to go down again.
We call that a sack look.
Okay, let's go back a little bit and see if my schooling comes to the front. What's that old saying? Those who forget the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. That's the same guy who's getting...
Oh, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more.
I remember when I was a kid and all I wanted was a nickel so I could get that soda down at the fountain. And guess what? The nickel came into play well. 5 defensive backs, they covered well, allowed for the sacks.
Sodas were a nickel when you were a kid. And the pressure gets to him again. The Steelers try it, but they come up empty on 4th down. And the Texans take over an excellent field position. Well, at this stage of the game in the second half, down 3 scores, I guess they felt like they needed to push.
And let's face it, with this deficit, if they give up another score here after they didn't get it, does it really matter?
Right.
It really doesn't. They had to go and try and make something happen if they had any chance of winning this game.
2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So it's Texans football as we welcome you back. And you'd have to figure they're just looking to burn these final 2 minutes away and get out of here with a victory. Again, it's Kamara. And he will force his way forward for a yard or 2, but I have a good feeling this will be coming back.
Offense.
So some holding over on the left side of that O-line.
And I know for the guys trying to move those big defensive people, they'd love for them to stay in one spot. But they move around so quick and so fast that sometimes you just have to grab them.
Now they face a 2nd and long following the holding penalty. And he loses the football a second time.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. 3rd and long. It's Watson. Open man is Ross, complete. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone. And it's a 15-yard pickup, but it'll lead to a 4th down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. And Watson's going to throw it here. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes.
It's interesting, partner, that most defenses try and guard the 35-yard line actively because they think the way kickers are nowadays, about a 52-yard field goal, they're kind of giving up points. But you get even deeper into territory, you get into the red zone, they're going to guard it even more, which means more pressure, more blitzing.
And now another turnover as this one's intercepted. Picked off by Kyle Fuller.
And that's a great example of ball skills right there, partner. You and I do a lot of games, and I can't tell you how many guys look to run with the football before they've intercepted it. So that's a nice job of focusing on the task at hand and coming away with the interception.
The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together? Oh, and this is going to wind up a safety. Well, this defense has been smothering all game long. Why not give them 2 more points here in the closing minutes?
Well, they've certainly earned it. They've gotten the better of this offensive line for 4 quarters, and this sack here will just be a little icing on the cake.
After the safety, remember, they also need to give up the football, and here's the free kick. And an alley to run. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And 3 timeouts remaining here defensively, but really not much reason to use them at this point as this one is all but over.
If they use the timeouts here, it's strictly for show.
A big seam, and he might go all the way. Touchdown, Houston. Nyheim Hines, his second touchdown of the afternoon. And the Texans push further out in front.
Well, I've got to laugh here, and I really don't want to because the old school in me is not happy about this score this late, not necessary. But this is Madden, isn't it? Yeah. This is how it works.
Rub it in. Have a day.
I mean, what does it matter? These guys who are playing in this game, there are no feelings
Exactly.
there.
They don't have to face the guy. Well, they might if they're in the same room going head-to-head.
But that's
the
about
virtual guys on the screen don't have to face each other after this one.
In that case, run it up.
So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Pittsburgh offense at the line to start their next drive. They're down big here late. I don't know. You just one last drive here for pride?
Some people like to do that. I remember playing for a guy once. We were down huge, and someone said, "Coach, what do you want to call?" He just waved a hand like, "Who cares? Let's get out of here and do something some other time." But some teams like to do something at the end to feel a little bit better as they continue to move forward.
Yeah, probably just want to put this one behind them. So Houston going to come away here with the victory. And it was a game where they were off and running in the first quarter, Charles, and never looked back.
You know, partner, after a while, we always say the same thing, don't we? They set the tone early, right? They started fast. So I asked a few of my horse racing friends, do you have a term for me that we can use to cover that? And they said, yeah. When a horse breaks out like that, you say he caught a flyer out of the gate. And that's exactly what this team did today. I mean, they jumped out there, jumped on them, and were never headed.
So for Houston, they move back over 500 at 3-2 now on the year. And they'll be able to enjoy this one through the bye week before they get back at it again. Meanwhile, for Pittsburgh, things aren't looking good. It'll be an 0-5 start, and they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Thanks to our entire crew as well. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody.